Hey, Center fans, welcome back. Thanks for joining us again for Champion Standard. Um, Today we are going to have a deep dive on John Mateer. Rob's got some stats and some video clips. We can dive into that a little bit deeper today. And of course, we'll talk Thunder and OU softball. We'll do a recap on that.
That's my standard. That's my standard. My champion standard. Champion standard. Pull up with the answers. Yeah, the answers. Champion standard. Champion standard. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Yeah, we got a big game this evening. Which I feel like it's a must-win already after that. Gosh, that final shot loss. That's two now we've had in the postseason. We rebounded okay against Denver, but man, yeah, it definitely feels like a must-win. You got to split at least at home. So, hoping they can get it done tonight. You can't have a 15-point lead in these playoffs, Rob, and just let teams slowly chip away and then have an opportunity for a guy like him who has been crazy clutch. Say what you want about Halliburton, but he gets a lot of criticism at times. But man, that guy has been very clutch in the postseason this year, and just we don't need to give him any more opportunities like that for game-winning shots.
Yeah. It was that game. I mean, we talking through it, and we had the lead, and they just that's what the Pacers did, and this whole playoffs is they just wear teams down, and they have like they are not a team that folds. If anything, they embrace the moment, and I sat there hanging in with all the confidence in the world because I'm like, you still have to go through Shea, and because he was going to get his look, and what happened at the end of the game? Shea misses his shot, Halliburton makes his shot, and that was game.
Yeah. No, it was just I don't know what else to say other than they kind of gave it to him that game. So kind of frustrating.
You gotta have the killer instinct. You gotta have the killer instinct. If you want to get through finals, you want to win a finals, you have to have the killer instinct to put people away. You got to suffocate them, and you have to throw them away. Like, you bury them and you throw them away. Like, and we just couldn't do it. We got on this huge run, and we allowed them to come back, and then when we allowed them to come back, Shea misses that shot. If Shea drains that game, I mean, the game is looking awfully different, very different. So hopefully tonight they learn from their mistakes. They have plenty of talent, plenty of chemistry to go and go get this win and build momentum. We knew this was going to be a long series. We knew this was going to be a 6-game series. Mm-hmm. So going down one early, fine. Go get this win, and let's go to game 3. And like, you got to keep chipping away, But yeah, I'm still a little disappointed Shea didn't make that shot. And I know it shouldn't have to be that way with as many points that they were up. But last pod, I was like, finals has always got that one guy that just says, I'm going to take this. This is mine. Like, I own this finals. Nothing's going to get in my way. And that was his signature shot right there in that, well, what do you call it? The 2 key or whatever. What do you call that? The 2 corner?
Yeah, the nail, or there's different terms for it there.
Yeah. He's going to get, there's going to be a moment in this finals, multiple moments in this finals where it's going to be close, and he's going to have to, like, it's got to be Shea. Shea's got to do it. It's got to be the superstar. If you're a superstar, you win it. Take it. Have that killer instinct to go take it. Come on, Shea. Let's do it.
Yeah. I do think, his, J-Dub and Chet both need to step up a little bit. His supporting cast, especially those two guys in particular, really didn't have a great outing. So, to the extent that their game can, pick up a little bit, that may take a little bit of pressure off him, because I don't want it being on his shoulder. the entire game. You know, he needs
No,
to
not
have
the
those
entire game.
complementary pieces, and even
Yeah.
even down the stretch, you hope there's a few guys that can hit big shots. Where they can't just isolate on suffocating, Shea there at the end. But we'll see. I think they'll bounce back. They've bounced back rather well after losses in the postseason and regular season. So
Hmm.
I think they'll get one tonight.
Yeah, they'll get it. We'll get
Yeah,
it done.
yeah. Softball season came to an end I guess it would have been last Monday. Uh, Came up a little short in the semifinals. Um, yeah, but great season overall. You didn't
Oh,
expect
of course.
didn't expect to get that far, and if anybody
That's
did,
it's
yeah,
amazing.
another great coaching job by Patty Gasso. Maybe one of her better ones to get and have to retool this team the way she did, and bring in all those freshmen and get them
All the
ready.
new faces, and all
Yeah.
those faces are gonna be here next year. And then
Hmm.
you posted the class that they're bringing in. They're just gonna keep stacking talent. I mean, they're good. She's gonna get another one. I mean,
Yeah,
she they're
and
just
yeah,
come on down,
yeah.
okay?
And
Because
the
just keep
season the
going.
season was just barely over Friday, and she already got a pitcher
Yeah,
transfer from LSU, All American. Sydney Burzon, I think is how you say her name.
Burzon. Okay.
Uh, that's how it looks anyway. But yeah, already got a pitcher coming in. She'll get 3 or 4 more, coupled with that class coming in. Yeah, they're going to be loaded once again. Um, I think it's all about pitching.
Yeah.
If she can find a Jordy Ball type, or a Maxwell, or whatever. Just need that stud. Landry was great. Um, she just didn't have that ability to sometimes dominate games like some of the other pitchers we've had in the past. She was
Yeah.
good, um, just not didn't have that overpowering stuff at times to be able to keep these teams at bay. So yeah, we'll. I was talking to somebody the other day. We'll get our trophy back next year, Rob. We'll get our trophy back.
Absolutely.
We let
Yeah.
somebody borrow it this year, and they can borrow it for a year, and then we'll get it back.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So you've been wanting to dive in a little bit and look at John Mateer a little more.
yeah.
You just hadn't had a chance to put everything together and get it good and
Sure.
organized the way you like it.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
figured, yeah. So yeah, super excited.
yeah.
So been working on it for a while, but I mean, really, this is like gonna be a something that we just talk about all summer. Like, if you let me, like 5 or 10 minutes, I just because there's so much to go through, Brad. Like, you can't. I see all the breakdowns out there, and like they'll pick like maybe 4 or 5 of their favorite plays, and they don't show the bad, or they'll pick one game and they'll just go through one game, and it's kind of like, okay, uh, but I've tried to, like, answer a few questions. They had 3 straight losses with New Mexico State. New Mexico, is it New Mexico State or New Mexico? I keep forgetting. Yeah, okay, so New Mexico, Oregon State, and Wyoming. They had 3 straight losses. Try to answer the
Mm-hmm.
question, like, why did they lose those games, and then what is some of Mateer's, like, um, what are some of his opportunities for growth, I guess you could say. I mean, I kind of had a nitpick. I'll just put it there. I was nitpicking.
That's
The
fine.
guy's a 44 touchdown kid with 7 interceptions. I think he lost 3 fumbles on the year, maybe.
Okay.
For a guy that had 800 yards throwing the football, running the football, I thought 3 fumbles wasn't that terrible. With how many, I don't even know how many carries that the guy had.
Yeah. No, you're right, and he had great stats, and then he's coming in, and people were giving him the Baker Mayfield comparison, and
Yeah.
I think it is important for you and other people to kind of enlighten people a little bit or tame those expectations a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
Baker was one of the best, if not the best, college quarterback of all time. So we may want to tap the brakes just a little on that one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I got it up here. I should have had it up before, but he had 164 rush attempts. And out of those 164 rush attempts, probably about 50 of those were scrambles, like were pass calls that he scrambled out of. I have the number somewhere in there, but about a third of his rushing totals are scramble plays. Pass calls became scramble plays. So when you look at Ben Arbuckle, he throws more or he runs more. Yeah, I don't know where they're getting the production, like how you tabulate production. Like I went up based on what the calls were. Ben Arbuckle, and we're going to do a whole Ben Arbuckle scheme look here in the next week or two. This is just focusing on Mateer, but a high level, Arbuckle called about 57 to 58% pass plays over run. It's not. I saw some numbers out there like 51-49. It's not 51-49 or even close to 50-50. He's pushing that envelope of almost 60%, 60-40. In some games, 60-40. Like the Boise State game, it was like 64, like 63% pass because they were down so much. But overall, the season total, Arbuckle called about 57-58% pass plays. Mm-hmm. So Mateer only saw about 100 or so attempts of actual like run attempts for rushing yards, like run calls. But that was a big part of the game last year, was his scramble ability. It really got him out of the jam quite a bit. So, but before we start, I want to bring up this article from PFF. So this article from PFF, Pro Football Focus, this is like dated like May 27th. So it's not super old. It's not super anything. They're ranking they ranked the top 10 quarterback rooms for the 2025 season. And you kind of go through this list, and number one, they had Garrett Nussmeier. Yeah, that seems, he threw for the 5th most passing yards in the nation, blah, blah, blah. Okay, throw it. He's out of the Big Ten and the SEC, he's like the big-time guy that came back. Like, is there anybody else that threw for 3,800, 3,600 yards or more? I don't think so. I think he's just the top dog that is coming back. So, of course, you're going to throw him one. I'm fine with that.
Right.
You got Kevin Jennings of SMU, Sam Levitt of Arizona State, who made a huge playoff run. Mm-hmm. He was a solid quarterback. DJ Lagway, who is that rising star in the SEC, going to make that sophomore step. Cade, how do you say his last name?
Klubnik. Yep.
Klubnik, yeah. So guy who's it seems like he's been in football forever. He's been, is this like his fourth year?
His name has been around, yeah.
He's ranked 5. Miami, Carson Beck. I think this is the biggest fraud.
Overrated. He's overrated.
He did nothing without Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is a monster. That dude had a terror of a season 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Beck's season last year was not good without him. And now he's in Miami getting paid a huge check. I think NIL dollars and hype probably pushed him onto this list. But Drew Aller, I like Drew Aller.
Right.
He's very, like, his game is very getting similar to a Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. I mean, the size, the arm strength. I mean, like the way he moves. The rushing ability. Not anyway. I'm surprised he's not further up on this list. Then you get to this surprising number here. Number 8, quarterback room, according to PFF, Auburn, with Jackson Arnold. And it says here, while the former 5-star recruit only posted a 63 PFF grade, which is not good. Like anything about 65 and less is an average starter.
Okay.
Average starter, or like barely a starter. Dealt with one of the worst supporting casts in college football and the second worst receiving grade in the nation, or 103rd offensive line grade. But he's ranked 8th.
Huh. Yeah.
It was a very
high, but yeah.
I just thought it was weird that it put everyone else down and didn't mention a single stat of his.
Oh,
I
right.
don't know. I mean, anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true.
that's a little
Hmm.
weird. Anyways, go down to 9. Alabama, redshirt junior, Ty Simpson, most likely to start. They don't even know who's going to start. True freshman Keon Russell, 5-star out of high school. But
Hmm.
there's, I don't know, the best quarterback room. And then number 10, Ohio State, quarterback battle, redshirt freshman Julian Sayin, and redshirt sophomore Lincoln Kyanholtz. And of course, you've got an article in the offseason. You
Yep.
always throw an honorable mention. If Texas can't get in the top 10, you always add them as an honorable
Right.
mention.
Right.
Arch Manning.
Yeah. Wow. Some of those grades kind of surprised me. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what their criteria was, Rob. Like,
So,
I realize Ohio State just won a natty, but redshirt freshman, and you're, yeah. I don't know about that, man.
it's a little, yeah. So PFF, you have to. I've spoken to Sports Info Systems SIS Data, who helps us. I've spoken to some PFF guys that were PFF scouters. I mean, they do it as a side gig. Coaches do it as a side gig through the season to make a little bit of money. It is completely subjective, and they try to standardize it, but being in, like, just dabbled in the coaching, like, every coach has their own way of, like, evaluating things. Like, they have their own terminology. They like certain things, so it's all subjective. It's really hard to. So I don't really look at PFF grades. I look at the stats, like the hard numbers, but the grades I throw away. Like, I just throw it away. I don't really care. I'll be subjective and give my own grade and just look at the numbers, look at the tape.
Right.
But on this list of 11, they don't mention John Mateer, who scored 44 touchdowns last year. Scored 44 touchdowns. He rushed for 13 touchdowns and threw for 27. He had 7 picks and 3 fumbles. He had a solid dang year last year, and he didn't even make a list
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
11 teams.
It seems odd. I'd like to see some other lists by some other reputable people out there, because this one just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Anyway,
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
forgot
yeah.
to say it earlier. Everybody, please download, like, subscribe wherever you follow your socials. We'd appreciate that. Speaking of John Mateer, I pulled up a little bio on him. He's from Little Elm, Texas, which is kind of a suburb down, kind of the Frisco area, just kind of east of Denton, that whole Denton area, where Arnold and some others are from. Little Elm, Texas. His parents, both of them, were competitive swimmers,
Oh,
and he chose to not follow their path in the pool and carve his own path on the football field. So I found that interesting. But
that's cool.
athletic backgrounds, so which doesn't surprise me sometimes when these athletic quarterbacks and things show up. It seems like that has some bloodlines behind it, so to speak. So
Yeah.
I found that interesting. But had a good high school career. I think he he finished 7,000 yards passing, 1,200 yards rushing, and 88 touchdown. 3-star
That'll do it.
recruit. Yep. Went to Washington State, redshirted a year, was behind Cam Ward another year, and then last year, which you've already mentioned. So
Yeah, it was the who's now the North Texas head coach, Eric Morris. And when we were at a local establishment, what was I, like 6 months ago, 8
Yep.
months ago, stumbled upon coach, Big 12 coach, Big 12 Arizona State coach.
Arizona State. Yep.
Yeah, linebacker coach, and Coach James, I think, wasn't it? Coach Austin James.
Maybe. That sounds wrong, but
That does sound wrong.
I won't doubt your younger mind.
No, don't. I have a terrible mind. Oh, I'm so forgetful. Oh man, it drives my wife crazy. I forget everything.
Yeah,
It's bad.
I can't tell you that's wrong and then not have the right answer over here. So
I'm trying to look it up. It's funny.
yeah, no, but yeah,
Uh,
he had some good things to say about Mateer when we were there talking to him. We did our best to put him on the spot and get as much information as we could from
yeah,
him. You know,
yeah. He was in town because he was recruiting some Bixby linebackers, and there was some linebackers in the city he wanted to take a look at. A couple of them that he really really liked. I'm not sure if he snagged one or not, but um, and he some of one of the things that stuck to us that he kept repeating over and over again, and what we named the episode is that he kept saying, Mateer's an X factor. Like he's a walking it factor. He's an X
hmm
factor, it factor. He can change a program. Those are direct quotes from him, and
right.
he did not hide his affinity for the kid. He thought Mateer came in and did everything the right way, and he told us that he did not he was not ever going to take Cam Ward's job, that
hmm
he wasn't going to like unseat him as a freshman, but you could tell that Cam Ward stepped up his game the moment he came in, because
Right.
Cam Ward came in. He put it in his mind. I have to be a more accurate quarterback. I have to be more accurate. And you could see that the two of them went through fall camp, how Mateer was right there, shoulder to shoulder with him the whole fall camp. That's what he kept saying over and over. He came in, he was doing everything right in the weight room. He did everything right in the team in the quarterback room, and he just pushed and pushed. And of course, Miami comes in, and Cam Ward takes the NIL deal, steps away, goes to Miami. They didn't bring any transfer quarterback. They didn't need to.
hmm
Mateer, they felt comfortable with him. And I think, and this is just my opinion now, when Cam Ward went and got drafted number one overall pick, I think in the OU building, I think all the coaches were like, oh, snap. Oh, wow. That, okay. Because, coaches talk. And
Yep.
Eric Morris is now in North Texas, where that's his recruiting ground. How he discovered Mateer. A coach came in and told him about him. Hey, you got to go
hmm
see this kid in the Little Elm. He's tearing it up. He's kind of flying under the radar. You had like Alex Orji, the quarterback in the four. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that came out of that draft class. There was a Texas commit, a TCU commit, and John Mateer just sort of flew under the radar. And Eric Morris swooped him and stole him right from under everybody.
hmm
So, yeah, that's the little story that we have for like the origin of how Mateer ended up getting to Washington State. I mean, coaches talk. You got connections. Morris was just, hey, you need to go take a look at this kid, and Morris went down there, offered him that day or that week, and
hmm
yeah. So, did we find the coach's name?
Oh no, I didn't look it up. Sorry.
I was trying to find it. Like
Yeah.
I can't navigate.
No, I forgot his name. We were trying to give him credit here, but um, no. And what's funny is the critics that may say, hey, John Mateer's stats were at Washington State. Those same people, I don't know if they had that same opinion when Cam Ward went to Miami. Were they giving him the same type of criticism? I don't know. But his game didn't have a hard time translating over to one of the Power Five
Yeah.
conferences. So that should be one of those pluses, or one of the pros that we ought to take away, is that his game should be able to translate over to the SEC. So
Yeah. Yeah, so let's go into it, man. You ready? Let's
yeah,
go talk a little bit of John Mateer.
yeah. You pull up your I know you have some stats and stuff like that. I'm going to look up that coach's name just because it's going to eat at you the whole time, and I don't want you distracted.
Thank you.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Let's see. Was he a linebacker coach?
Yeah.
Was he a defensive coordinator kind of guy?
No.
Okay. So there's Brian Ward. It wasn't him.
Oh, he might have moved on for.
He might have. Yeah, it was. Huh. I don't know. I like Dillingham. I think we're both fans of Dillingham as a coach.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So I've got a lot of stats in here, Brad.
Mm-hmm.
Like from passing concepts to yard. I mean, all of it, everything. I mean, explosive plays, the touchdowns, yard, all of it. From productive plays to field position. But today we're just little bites, little things at a time. I could talk about this stuff for like hours.
Right.
But I know audience probably just needs like bite-sized lessons.
Right.
So bite-sized lessons. As putting this together, you're watching film of the 12 games, probably like went through about 3 times or so. It was really kind of hard to, you kind of have to nitpick to try to find like, Mateer's faults, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But what we've got here is looking at coverage. So this is like quarterbacks versus coverage. And so I'm kind of using data that kind of help me decipher what are some of the areas that he has opportunity for improvement. And so this is just a ranking based on completion percentage by coverage. And looking at John Mateer, we'll zoom in. You let me know if you can you see this?
I can. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. It's good size there.
There we go. Actually, there we go. Is that better?
Yeah, that looks great. The top's cut off a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Better.
There we go. Okay. More screen space. Okay, here we go.
Yep.
So completion percentage, John Mateer by coverage. His best coverage was cover 5. So versus cover 5 by completion percentage, he was actually ranked number 1 in the country versus cover 5 with 14 attempts, 12 receptions, 82 yards, 3 touchdowns for 85% completion percentage. This other is usually like red zone stuff, low red stuff. So I kind of just grouped those together. Again, not too shabby there. 53 attempts, 43 completions, 86%, 81%. Those are like your red zone targets. And I kind of just group them together. His third best coverage, cover 0. So that is just like man coverage, nothing, no safety valve on top. He had 62%, which was good for 8th in the country. And when I mean 8th in the country, is about 150 quarterbacks are on this list, active quarterbacks. So coming down here to the very bottom, this is where I was kind of like, this is a little bit interesting. So in cover 1, man coverage outside, 1 safety on top, 1 safety valve, right? 1 safety, 49%, ranked 82nd out of 150 active quarterbacks. So what does that look like? Let's just filter out cover 1 by ranking percentage. Who was number 1? You had Cam Miller of North Dakota State. Yeah, this is like FCS, FBS, everything. Mississippi State, Blake Shapen had, only 16 attempts, but let's go down to some like
Shadur Sanders.
Yeah, there he is. Shadur. I was like, Shadur. Shadur
Yep.
Sanders, 63%, 76 attempts, 48 completions, pretty good. Not bad.
Mm-hmm. Ewers right below him.
Ewers, yep. Quinn Ewers, 46 attempts, 29 completions, 63. And then there was the Big Daddy. Where's the guy that got... So going down, where is the dude that just got drafted?
Cam Ward?
Jackson Dart.
Oh.
So Jackson Dart had 1,100 yards for 60% completion. So I was trying to find where's those guys that got drafted? How do they do? And Jackson Dart, first round pick to the Giants. He had 60%, 8 touchdowns.
Is that right, Rob, or is it that other column to the left of that?
No, it's this one right here.
Okay. So, yeah. Oh, it's his rank. That's his rank.
Yeah, that's his rank. I'm sorry. Yeah,
53% is his completion percentage. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. 53% completion, rank 60. Sorry.
Gotcha. Yep.
I'm trying to find. Yep. There's Will Howard.
Mm-hmm. Nussmeier's a few rows up from him.
Oh, there he is. Nussmeier. Yep. 55%, ranked 49th. So looking at Mateer, again, he's 82nd.
He's all the way down here. Yeah.
All the way down here.
Oof.
There he is.
Yep.
So that was like, okay. Cover 1. Interesting. Okay. So he had 65 attempts, 32 completions, 561 yards, 5 touchdowns for 49% completion, ranking him 82nd out of 150 quarterbacks.
Yeah, that particular stat's not fantastic.
And then going to our right, so this is coverage usage by conference, and I've got it filtered by the SEC. And I watched Georgia. I watched maybe 4 or 5 games of Georgia. I've watched maybe 4-ish games of Alabama. Probably more like 6 games of Missouri. Our coach Flo really loves Missouri, so he's having me watch a lot of Missouri. I don't like watching Missouri, but they are offense is a little fascinating. But anyways, the SEC, and I always thought, man, SEC's running a lot of man coverage. Like just seems like a lot. And seeing this stat here, cover 1 is their predominant coverage. 24% of the time, defenses are running cover 1, almost a quarter of the time. And cover 4 is second at 17%. Cover 2, 16%. Cover 3, 16%. Others, kind of your goal line stuff is like 15%. Cover 5, 6%. But go watch some Georgia tape, Brad. Like, Georgia is crazy. They are like, we're just going to beat you up and send pressure. They just want to beat you up. I'm glad we don't have Georgia on our schedule, but teams on our schedule that ran a lot of cover 1, Missouri, especially Alabama, and that third team escaped me. But we have teams that cover 1 is like an arsenal. It's a base coverage. I know, I get it, but there's other there's conferences that run it more, but they just putting the numbers together, that's what we see. So we know cover 1, John Mateer, there's got to be a story for it. We'll get to that story. I got this stat. This is after all of our the breakdown, and I just want to know what were some of John Mateer's favorite routes. So these are his favorite routes, his favorite, his most completions. And I mean, it's not really, you watch any football game, this is pretty much the summary of a football game, really. You're going to hit a lot of screens. Right? You're going to take the easy screens. You're going to take the easy hitches. Mm-hmm. So out of his completions, I just filtered this for like the top 10 or so.
Right.
Hit screen 38 times, hitch 30 times, speed out 20, stick 18, fade 13. That's interesting. A fade route's pretty hard throw to make. I mean, as anyway, flat 13, slant 12, dig 9, slail 8, and shallow cross 6. So I just kind of I was like, huh, okay, so fade. And that's where I started kind of putting things together a little bit. And these are completions. It's not even like, including attempts. I bet I can get attempts on there too.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, okay, so cover 1, Mateer kind of struggles a little bit. Cover 1 usage in the SECs is among the highest percentage of coverage, which is about normal for every conference. But I mean, I just thought it was. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be almost 10% higher than every other coverage out there. But just as a base shot, there's John Mateer passing before we have an episode where we really dive into Ben Arbuckle's scheme and some of the things that he does on the field.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like looking at John Mateer passing, you know, he can make every throw, and he, you know, looking at how you want to play against him, and we'll see on film here in a minute, is cover 1 is definitely the one coverage that a lot of teams like to utilize to slow him down. Even though the legs, you know, as much as he runs the football, man coverage is not usually when you want to run on a running quarterback. You usually want zone eyes on the quarterback so that the corners and the linebackers can come down and hit you. And man coverage, you're making those man turns on the outside. The quarterback's going to try to eat. And that's where we kind of want to go. We can go into, you know, the Wyoming game, where I thought Wyoming did a really good job of slowing him down.
Yeah, no, that's good stat there, just showing which one of those he kind of struggles with more than the others.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Cover 5, was it cover 5 that his best coverage was? I thought that was. Let's go back to that look one more time. And I forgot to say that this is pure dropbacks. So this does not include play action or RPOs. This is like I'm stepping back and I'm throwing the football. That's why these touchdowns and yards look a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 2,500 of his like 2,900 yards, or 23 touchdowns of his like 29 or so from the air. But I mean, yeah, cover 5, pretty dang good. Cover 0, pretty dang good. Cover 2 and 3, about, you know, mediocre. And then really it was that dip in cover 1. Okay, so let's go into the film. This is the fun part. Got any questions, Brad, before we dive in?
No questions. No, I like all the objective stuff that you always have on here. You know what I mean? Well, there's just way too many, you know, things, exaggerations thrown out there a lot of times, and it's nice to kind of get down in the weeds like you have.
Yeah. All right, let's go in the film. Let's look at Mateer mistakes in cover 1, and then we can get to the it factor stuff. And I'll say it again before we start the film, just like I did the data. I am nitpicking because there's not a whole lot of bad to talk about John Mateer, but there, you know, we want to know, like, why did his numbers are so low in cover 1? Well, we're going to show you. All right. So let's get into some film. I've missed this, man. I've missed this.
These episodes, man. If there's data and film junkies out there, man, this is your kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start with. I think people have seen this one. I'm pretty sure they have. So this is cover 1. And Washington is an opponent left by Jed Fish, who's a big cover 3 guy. He's a Belichick guy. Belichick, who invented the rip is cover 3. Him and Saban. They're cover 3 man match, not necessarily cover 3 spot drop. But in the Arizona game versus Jackson Arnold, they kind of did a little bit of both, and Arnold got in trouble a few times. This is cover one. This is just straight up cover one. And, I don't know if it was like a part of the offense to where Arbuckle is just saying, hey, you see cover one, you see the safety turn his back, just launch this fade. Just just throw it, get it. And he underthrows this ball. And this is where, when you're releasing this, your receiver doesn't have him beat. I mean, this corner is completely in phase, and Mateer's trying to throw to a spot. He's trying to throw to a spot, and he underthrows it. Too easy of an interception.
Yeah, you got to throw your guy open on that one.
Throw it open, or like put it, got a little underthrown there.
Yep.
Here's another cover one. Again, this is now instead of as that first fade on the sideline, right? They ran out of room and threw a pick. So they come back later in the game, they're going to do a slot fade. Why? More space. So instead of being on the sideline only having about 5 yards of work, hey, let's run a slot fade, and that way we've got more like 8 to 9 yards to work. And still just now he overthrows it. And it's just like, okay, not quite there.
Yeah.
This is the one that I really want to talk about. This is the one that this is against Fresno State. And again, this is cover one. And you're in the red zone. Cover one is ran in the red zone a lot because, you lose, there's not a travel distance of the ball and the spacing, all of it. It is perfect for cover one. I got this guy. You're not going to have a bust. But this is the one play, and there's maybe 3 plays all year that really irk me as far as like watching Mateer. It's like, he's got to be better here. And this one is definitely one of them because his safety is not hiding anything. Look at where he's looking. He is looking directly at
the receiver. Yeah.
He's looking, yes. Like, there's no secret. He's staring right at him.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, and we'll look at the Enzo cam, he just throws it up. Too easy of an interception. Way too easy. Way too easy. But look at look at Mateer's eyes. He never
looked him off, does he?
Never looked him off.
Yeah.
Didn't even like look up to see if he was even looking at. That was a bad play.
Mm-hmm.
Like they end up winning this game. It's fine, but I was kind of like, what, dude? Like, that's too easy. Like, don't do that. And here they are again. This is cover one. So they're okay. We got to get him run the ball. I just threw this in. It's technically cover one. It's not a pass, but he ends up fumbling here. And I just want to mention that even though he ran for 164 times, he only lost 3 fumbles. He does take care of the football. He does. Like, even 7 picks, 3 fumbles for the amount of production you get out of the guy. You will take that. You will take that. Again, for his usage was so high, and to only lose 3 fumbles and 7 picks is actually it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to give you some positivity.
Yep. That's a good percentage. Yeah.
So this is a huge play right here, massive. This is the Wyoming game. They lost this game. This is the last game of the year. This is the second to last possession of the game. And they have to get a first down. It's 4th and 3. This really is the game because the next possession, they only have like 25 seconds on the clock. This is the game right here. And Wyoming had I'm just going to let it play, had a great game plan. They really disguised their coverage incredibly well. They moved people around. They did some things that I really haven't ever really seen with their corners. But he does not get this first down. He gets a little happy feet, and again his offensive line was mediocre, and he tries to play hero ball, and he does not get this first down. I'm not blaming him for this rep, as this offensive line got manhandled by the Wyoming D line. They they pushed him around too much. But with this game on the line, this is running mesh. So here's mesh. I knew it was mesh. I just didn't know what crossing receivers. They have mesh, and you got a dig. And this tight end, Cooper Mathers, he's open. Like, wide open. Runs his little mesh. I mean, there is space. And you knew this guy was going to be manned up. On a 3-by-1 set, majority of the time, this guy is megged. Like, they're man everywhere he goes, megged up. Like, he's man coverage. So if you get this guy open, if you get your this shallow route open, there's going to be a crazy amount of space. And there it is. There's a crazy amount of space. I mean, there's all he has to do is just get it to him.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're stepping up in the pocket, man. But these are the kind of like Sunday plays that some of the great Sunday players make. They don't allow just this guy who doesn't have his hands up and just to affect you from making this play. You got to make this play. Game's on the line. Get it there. Come on, man. And instead, he relies on his legs. He could have easily pulled back right here and still thrown this ball. You could have flattened this out. The first down marker's right here on this 40. You could have still flattened it out. Mm-hmm. You could have thrown it to him, flattened it out, and he could have used his big body on a corner to get that first down. Game of inches, man. Game of inches. And instead, he takes it, which he does take the rock a lot, and he just doesn't quite get there.
Yeah.
And they lost the game. They had 6 drives. They scored 2 touchdowns in the first 4 drives, and the last 6 drives, they had 23 plays. 23 plays, 6 drives, and it came down to this moment, and they couldn't quite get there. This is against Hawaii. Cover 1. Another, I'm not sure, I'm not, again, he's staring right at the guy. So this is cover 1. You just got an out route, a little speed out. And they love the speed outs. They love the sail. They do the corner too. But this is, I think 4th and 2 or 3rd and 2. Cover 1. He's staring right at him, and he doesn't want to pull it down. He doesn't want to throw it. He's open. Takes a sack instead. And you see that. You see it too often for, as the number of sacks go, but
yeah, and I think to your point that you made earlier, every team and quarterback has negative plays during the game. You just happen to, pull up those. We're not saying this is who he is. This is just you're just showing some of the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because plays like this, again, we'll go back to my point. Cover 1, completion percentage was so low. Some of the quick hitters that he could have thrown, he didn't. And the ones that he did throw are plays like this, where it's a slot fade or an outside fade, and that's a low percentage throw. There's like a 3% chance that this comes down when you're looking at statistics. Like the fade route is incredibly difficult to throw onto the sideline like that. And so I think by the offense, they were saying, hey, you see cover 1, you got man, you got a fade, throw it. Let your guy have a chance. Let's go for the jugular. And it didn't quite work all the time, and that's why his percentage went down. But then as we go into the if factor, he hits these fades. He hits them. So I think it's kind of like the cover 1 read. If he had a fade, he was just chucking it, man. And some plays he got it, some plays he didn't, and that 49% really comes into almost like a 50-50 ball. So here's cover 1 as well. And this is just a great play by the linebacker. This linebacker makes an amazing play. He really should be run fitting this. Instead, he sits. And I think Mateer was thinking, oh, he's going to step up because, look, he's sitting back. The guard's right here. If we would have hand this ball off, this running back is going to be running through that linebacker. Linebacker takes a chance and intercepts the ball. But there's some cover one plays that were negative plays on Mateer that kind of drove his percentage down to being an 82nd ranked quarterback versus cover one.
Right, right. Hopefully he gets better offensive line play. Hopefully Beadenbo puts
Yes.
a good unit in front of him.
Yeah. Looking at some of these other mistakes, we can go through each of his interceptions here. This is a post corner route, so let me slow it down. You're getting a scissors concept right here, and they are running quarters. So this quarter, yeah, quarter. Oh my gosh, I cannot draw. I don't know. I guess I can't draw over lines. It's weird. But it's cover four. I don't really think it's man match, but the safeties do a tremendous job of letting these play off. You see this safety has no work. So he should, I mean, if there was any routes to this field side, he's working towards that, but he actually flips his hips and actually runs down the line here and is trying to find work, which allows this safety, the other safety to pass him off, and then he just undercuts the route. The corner undercuts it. It's a great defensive play. This play, this is Mills. You're getting a post and a dig, and I'm not sure what this receiver's doing. I kind of blame the receiver here, not Mateer, because I'm not sure. Like, he really rounds it out, and he's not really fighting to get anywhere. And this corner, this safety doesn't drive down on the ball. I mean, if I'm Mateer, I'm sailing this because it doesn't look like my receiver number 7 is really fighting up to get on field. You see how he's rounding it out? He should be cutting it this way into the end zone, and he's allowing this corner to basically round out his route right into the safety. But really, Mateer could have just sailed this into the back of the end zone and just lived to find another day. But
he had that crosser across the middle. That other receiver, inside receiver, was wide open there, right in the middle.
Yep, the dig that. Yep, because like I said, this safety doesn't drive down on it.
Yep.
He should be hitting this instead.
Yep.
He should be hitting the dig, but he did not. But even then, like this ball where it's thrown, I mean this receiver just didn't really do a good job of really fighting to get it across there. He let this corner manipulate his route. But anyways, okay, so this one, this is a great play call. I thought Arbuckle's play calling was pretty good. I really liked the slot fade and double moves, and I liked this burst route. So Arbuckle has this outside receiver. When you've got an inside receiver kind of doing these vertical threats like a double move and these fades, the outside receiver he calls what I would call a burst, where it looks like he's going to be going outside as like a fade, like a vertical stem, just like this, but then he'll burst inside for to attack the middle of the field. I think it's really, really cool, but for some reason, Mateer never really hit it until they went back later in the season and they kind of did some design whip concepts. But and like, I don't know. And he ends up sailing it, and then there's your pick on, this is cover 2, the outside. And
there were 6 defenders down in that area, or 5 at least.
Yeah. Yep. And just a few more. We'll skip that one. Okay. So right here, This is probably one of the not so good plays by Mateer. This is one of my 3 plays that I mentioned earlier. The first one was earlier. This is the second one. I'm not sure what he was seeing. I think sometimes when you've been hurried by an offensive line that's kind of mediocre and you're constantly in pressure and you can rely on your legs to get production. But at the top of the screen, very simply, you're getting a double move to the outside. Defense is cover 4. Outside corner is out again, cover 4. He bites on the double move and ends up losing his feet. And this receiver gets Scott open. I mean, he is free. He is free as a bird right there. That is a ton of space. For some reason, he even about to go into the throwing motion, stops. And this is where you and I have talked before, where it's like, that's a touchdown. And then he does his thing, and he just pulls it down and runs for 7 yards.
Right. And instead of the extra 3 yards, he could have scored a touchdown on that one. But yeah, it's still it's a good play, but it's not the one. We need the scoring plays, not the. Yeah.
I put this in a mistake playlist because that's a touchdown. Like, it's a touchdown, but he's able just to take off because he's an athletic beast and he can just do whatever he wants on a football field. Other quarterbacks don't have that ability. Okay, right. So we went through that one. Let me find.
You're gonna have to get to some good here real quick, Rob, or people are gonna be starting to draw conclusions.
Yeah. Again, I'm nitpicking, but I want this is the last play. This is the last mistake. This to answer the question, why did Wyoming beat Washington State? It was Wyoming won the time of possession by like 10, 12, 15 minutes or something like that. They ran the ball extremely well. Defensively, disguise. But this play here, they called about 10-ish times, and they had wild success with it. And if I'm a defensive coordinator and I'm game planning against John Mateer, this is what I would do. This is this play. What they harassed him, and what they did here this is what you call it again. It's a send pressure, a creeper, replacement pressure, whatever you want to call it. They're sending their apex defender here, or their overhang. They're sending their backer on a blitz. They're gonna drop a boundary defensive end into a QB spy. So he's spying. All he's doing is he's basically creating a wall. And they did this several times. They're going to create a wall with this defensive end as a QB spy. And what they're trying to do, what they did really well, is that when he would scramble out, they wanted him to go to the field side. Why? Well, that's where all your tacklers are. And so they build a wall with their defensive. He will literally flip his hips, put his back to the sideline, and make him move to the field side. And then they would have all the numbers on the field side, and they would run cover 1 or cover 3. So they would either take this nickel back, and they would either have him manned up, or they would send him to the middle of the field. And they did a really good job of disguising their cover 3 and cover 1. And we know by the stats and by some of the film earlier, cover 1, Mateer struggles in. And I thought they did a really good job of being very physical at the line, putting a boundary spy, and then this is cover 1. So this is cover 1. They got everyone covered up. They got a spy on the boundary. If he wants to take off, he can't go this way and get anything. He's going to have to go this way. And they've got multiple guys at every level that will come down and hit him. and they were perfectly okay with him just sitting back just like this. And this, if you want to run man coverage against Mateer, you have to have a spy. You have to. Like, you cannot just turn and just run. You have to have a spy. And if you want to run zone, then you're going to get, he will nickel and dime you in zone. But if you run man coverage on him, you got to have a spy to prevent him from getting yards. And he couldn't quite scramble in this game. His guys weren't getting open in man coverage, and that's where you got to have some good receivers that can beat man coverage if they start doing that. So, okay, are we ready for the fun stuff, Brad?
Yeah. Let's show some good stuff.
How about the first play of Boise State, where he just says bye? This is just inside zone. This is just, hey, we're gonna go in empty, quarterback inside zone. That's it. There's nothing fancy here. It's just okay. And that's a 56-yard gain, one missed tackle, and he's gone.
Yeah, he's strong. He's a big guy too, man. He can shake those tackles.
Yeah. You want to run, you're going to try to run cover 3, and you're going to give me time to throw. I'm just going to hit this open dig in the middle of the field and he's going to go score. I mean, this is I mean, if you mentioned it earlier, look all the time he has. This is the kind of quarterback I expect for OU this coming year. You're going to protect him, and you're going to try to run zone to keep all these eyes on him from running the football because his legs are so good. Then you're going to have players that are going to find the open spot in zone and do something like that.
Not even sure he was throwing to that guy, to be honest with you. There's two guys right there. Did you notice that?
Yeah, so they're running a dagger concept here. And I'm not sure, again, what some of these receivers, running a dagger, and this the seam players turning around. He needs to keep running.
Right.
He needs to keep running to open up this safety here.
Yeah, he looks like the intended target, and the other guy just cuts in front of him.
Well, that's Kyle Williams.
It worked great, yeah.
Yeah, that's Kyle Williams, number 2, and he's the 1,000-yard receiver, so he's probably like, "Yay, I'm getting the ball again."
Right.
So that double move that that Mateer had missed, this is the double move from earlier in the game that he did hit. So again, okay, he's got pressure, he's got plenty of time, and throws this double move, caught, easy pass, So let's look at another one. Oh, okay. So one of the reasons that he's an it factor, and a reason why this is all going to translate to next year. Mateer is a Mack truck, dude. He's a low red menace. You get into the low red within 5 yards of a touchdown. I don't know how, with as physical an O-lines you're going to stop this kid from getting a touchdown.
Yeah,
wearing
that number 10, he reminds me of Tebow a little bit, just with his ability just to stick his nose down and just go.
Yeah, this the tush push is legal in college football, right?
Right.
You 3rd and inches, fourth and inches, 1 yard line at the goal line, 2 yard at the goal line. You got 3 downs at the 1 or 2 yard line, and tush push is legal. This kid can squat like 600 pounds. He was like 500, 550, something like that. Like, he's good. Like, go and he's here it is. Here's 3rd and inches. Boom. He is going to chalk up some easy touchdowns, man. Let's see. Okay, so let's get into some crazy throws. Let me find some crazy throws here. Okay, this is a crazy throw, Brad. This is nuts, man. Like the depth, the accuracy from hash mark. This is wild. Okay, so let's replay that. So you got a guy in motion. They're running a speed out, and they're going to run a sail. He's on the far hash line, and this is fourth down. This is 4th and 10.
Oh, in their own side, huh?
On their own side. Look at this freaking throw. This throw is insane. That is one of the craziest throws I have ever seen.
Yeah, that's 30.
Let's look at the end zone cam.
Yeah.
Gotta have it. Look at that. Pocket.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That is a wild throw, man. My jaws dropped. I was like, that is some serious arm talent. Here he is, just taking off. Quarterback dart. He's still going.
Wow.
Oh, look at that. Touchdown.
Dang.
Let's look at the end zone cam. Just dart. Tackle's pulling. Can't even get. He's about to get in Mateer's way. He's like, I'm gonna take off, man.
Yeah, man. I
Stiff
hope,
arm.
I hope the Arbuckle Beatenbow combination on some of these run schemes is just off the charts.
Like I said, I was nitpicking on some of the stuff. Okay, this kid is wild. We've seen this play before, but there are so many plays where it's just like, wow. I mean, look at this. Look at these throws, man. This is pretty good throw, really good throw. That sail on Boise State, my jaw dropped. I was like, holy crap. Quarterback power. I'm sorry, quarterback draw. That puts a ton of pressure on a defense. And let's end it with this. So he missed some fade routes. Here's a beautiful fade. I believe it goes to this guy right here, this inside slot. They're running shock here. This is shock, wide open. I mean, if you could hit some of these fade routes and you can run the football, take care of the football, you're gonna win a lot of games, man. How about this one? Outside corner here. Look at this pretty ball.
Oof. Yeah, that was
too
on the money.
easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think he's got all the tools, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It just comes down, it's decision making at the end of the day, right? So
Yeah, man.
that's good,
I
man.
love football. I
Yeah.
love football.
No, that all the work you put into that stuff is awesome, and I know you got a passion for it. So,
Oh yeah.
it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
that was good. You had some, negative and good plays there mixed in together, so everybody could kind of get an idea. He doesn't walk on water yet.
Not yet.
He is human. So let's not. Yeah. Does he have a pro comparison yet? Oftentimes they give guys those pro comparisons, and I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, of course, but
I kind of like to compare him to Justin Herbert.
really,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
do.
all. That's all. Herbert's like his own kind of guy because he's like 6'6". He's like he's a volleyball player playing quarterback, and so it's hard for me to like.
I know he's not as tall as him, but
Yeah.
they both were great runners. They were both really great throwers. Herbert has a sidearm. Mateer, oh shoot, I didn't even show Did I show the sidearm play?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some. I'm trying to think of some other guys in the leagues that
I compare. I see Herbert. He's not as tall as him, but because he's not. I think he's. If you were gonna compare him to an OU quarterback, I actually think he's closer to Jalen Hurts than Baker right now.
gotcha. Yeah, Baker was not a runner. He was a escape artist in the
Yes.
backfield. He knew how to elude just that one guy, to get a
Yeah.
few extra yards. He wasn't a runner by nature like Materia is for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
One more play. One more play. I swear.
yeah,
Last one. Okay. So I mentioned, Herbert sidearm. Like he has some really cool sidearm plays, and this is Mateer. This is in Washington, playing Wyoming. Sorry, and this I personally don't like the sidearm. He's missed on some, but look at the end zone cam of this. It just looks like a normal dig, but using your sidearm, changing the throwing angles to get around defenders. Look at that. Whoop. He has a defender right in his face, throws around him, hits a receiver in stride. That was a good throw. That's the kind of throw that reminds me of Herbert.
yeah. No, I can see a little bit of Herbert in there. Just it's that frame that I have a hard time drawing the comparison to. But you may be right. No, that was good. Well, that was all things John Mateer. I don't think you left anything out. Um, I hope, I hope he can. He just has to use his legs sparingly. I don't want that to be like, you know, I don't know how many times he ran per game last year, but you're not going to make it through the SEC schedule if you try to run the ball as much as he was doing. You're just not. You're going to get beat up. Um, so hoping there's a good mix there, and you know we can talk about the receivers some other time, but hopefully there's enough good receivers on our team to help free up some running
Yeah.
lanes for our running backs and not force
Yeah.
Mateer to be in that role, even though he's completely comfortable with it, which you showed here. He has no issue on pulling the ball down and going. And when he does, he goes. So
Mm-hmm.
it was funny. I was looking at guys to compare him to, and I was like, you know what he is? He's the love child of Baker Mayfield and Trevor Lawrence because of his hair.
Ugh.
He's got long hair. I was like, well, he's I like to, because they'll do that sometimes. They'll do the mashups or whatever on TV of guys and take this guy and this guy, put them together, you get this guy. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'd be fine if he had a little Trevor Lawrence in him. That's an okay comparison too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah. This is such a huge upgrade, and it was really hard to find flaws in his game. And there were some plays where you would hope he went through his progressions a little bit quicker and a little bit faster. It's really hard to decipher when you've got an offensive line that was pretty mediocre, that gave a lot of pressure, especially in that Wyoming game. I watched that Wyoming game like 3-4 times, and that Wyoming defensive line really just manhandled. I mean, that pocket was so small for him to like step up in,
Sure.
and then they had that spy, and like they really funneled him to tacklers. If the offensive line does their job as just a solid offensive line, doesn't have to be a great, fantastic, elite, just solid offensive line, this guy is talented enough to do whatever the hell he wants to do.
Right.
You saw it. He misread that double move, completely whiffed on a bomb of a touchdown. It didn't matter. He scrambled for 27 yards and then pounded it in 2 plays later.
Yeah. No. Last year, we were banged up on the offensive line, and you saw what it did to Arnold's game. So Arnold could have been a different person had he had a better line in front of him. So it's all about those big guys up front creating that space. So yeah, I hope he can reach his full potential. This year, whatever that may be. And as long as that O-line can keep him upright, I think good things are in store.
Yeah, and he's an it factor, man. I mean, the swag, the confidence, the smile, the arm strength, the Mack truck legs.
Yeah.
There is so much. I keep thinking, we'll get into it later in the summer, but I want to try to figure out a stat line. And, you and I have talked about it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, man, he ran for, was it 15 touchdowns? Was it 15?
Yep.
Yeah, 13 touchdowns, I guess. 13, whatever. And I want to say like he does like 8 or 9, but you get into that Illinois State game, if Arbuckle calls it and Mateer runs it, there's a chance for a touchdown every damn time he runs the ball, especially if he's in the low red. If he's in the low red within 5 yards of the of the end zone and Arbuckle calls it, it's going to be a touchdown. He could easily score 5 touchdowns on the ground in Illinois State. I mean, it's really hard to figure out a stat line because there's so much that you could do with the kid. And you saw that play with Boise State, that sail route. I mean, throwing it from hash to sideline like that on time over defenders. I mean, the talent is, man, our offense is going to be so damn good next year. I'm trying not to say
it should be. No, I know. It's definitely got the potential to be with Arbuckle, Mateer, and a lot of offensive line, which we'll get into all of our position groups. We'll have our special show we do for that. So, but no, good show. Hey, do we want to wrap things up? I think we may have a little weather kind of starting to approach.
Sure.
Over on this side, but hey, that's good stuff, Rob. I appreciate all the effort you put together on that. I know you do a lot more than I do as far as film and stats and all that stuff. You give me one little part to do, and then you bring in all the heavy stuff.
I'm addicted to it, man. I'm addicted to all 22. I can't get enough of it. Yeah. Learning a lot. But this is just a primer, man. We're going to go into even deeper weeds here in a couple of weeks. Like, we're going to this is just to get shit started. When this is like a primer. I was just trying to go through some highlights. We'll go through some really even deeper stuff. When we dive into Arbuckle's scheme, we can really dive into like his tendencies on first, second, third, fourth down, and look at, we looked at some of Mateer's routes that he targeted. We'll look at like the coverages on those and different stuff. I mean, there's a lot of different things that we can do.
Yep. Sounds good. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. After we get off here, everybody needs to get their Thunder gear on and go cheer them up a little bit. Going to need it tonight. So appreciate everyone tuning in. Stay safe out there, and we will talk to you next time. Boomer.
That's my standard.